Details make all the differences in architecture. In this video, we will explore 3 effective ways to add crucial details to your project, ensuring everything is clear and accurate. Let's dive into how these extra touches can make your work stand out. In almost all of the project, for some parts, we need to add more detail. In some parts, we need to add more information. For example, in this 2D plan, maybe you want to add information about this corner, about the connection, about the way that your walls are connected together. Or maybe in your section, you need to add detail about the connection between your wall and your roof. Or maybe you have a very complex design and you need to add extra detail for those sections. In these cases, what we can do is to add a callout. For that, we can go to View tab, and in this part, we have this callout. In here, I'm going to first click on this rectangle. You can also click on this section and sketch the exact part that you want. I'm going to go with this option, and I will simply create my rectangle in this part. For example, from this part to here. Okay, now if we go to this callout, we have this section separately in this part, level 1 callout number 1. Now that we have this in different scale, we can add any information that we want for this section. For example, I'm going to move this to here. For example, maybe we want to add the detail about this floor, about its material, about its pattern. For example, I can go to the annotation section, and in this part, I can add this material type. I'm going to click on this part in here and in this section. The reason that we see this question mark in here is because we do not have any name for the description of the finished material of this floor. So I'm going to select it, go to Edit Type, and in a Structure section for this part, go to this section, and in Identity tab, I'm going to simply copy this for the description. Click on OK and OK and OK again. Now we can see the name of this tile in here. We can do this for any other section too. For example, for this part, I'm going to click on this section, the tag category, and simply create my tag for this door in here, or for this window. I'm going to simply click on this section and create my tag in this part. Okay, you can do this for any other thing too. If you want to add any extra detail, or if you want to add like the dimensions, you can do this in this section too, and it is easier to see that section separately. For example, for adding the dimension, you can simply go to Annotate, and with these options, this aligned, in here you can set it on the exact options that you want. In here, we want to add the information about all of these sections. So I'm going to click on OK, and then I will just simply click on my window on my wall and create my dimensions in here. Okay, I'm going to select it, and in this part, let's go with a higher value so we can see these numbers much better. Okay, so this is one way that we can add to our project to highlight some area. Another thing that we can do is to create a legend. For that, again, we need to go to View tab, and in this part, we have this legend section. If you click on this part, you can create a legend with the scale and name that you want. For example, for this legend, let's go with door and windows. I'm going to change this name, and then for its scale, let's put this on 1/20. I'm going to click on OK, and now if you look at this part, we have a new legend section in this part with the name and the scale that we just set. Now, what we can do with this legend? First thing that we can do is to add legend component. If we go to Annotate section, in this component, we can see this legend component, and you only can use this option if you create a legend first. Okay, you need to first go to View section, create your legend, and then in this part, you can add legend component. What is legend component? Legend component is literally everything, every family that you have in your project. No matter if it is a system family or is an in-place family or if it is a loadable family, you can add all of them in here. If you look at this section, you can see all of them, all of the families you have in your project in this part, and you can simply choose and select between them. For example, for the door, let's go with this one. If you look at this section, you can see the detail of your door in the floor plan. Okay, I'm going to simply place it in this part. After that, we can switch this to front or back and then add another one in this part. This could be one of the doors that you have in your project. You should check it with your schedule and your project and then add it to this part so you can easily add it to your sheet. Okay, let's go to the project, and in here, let's say we want to add the information about this door. You should click on it and then check its information. And we have this doors exterior function and M21. Okay, we can go back to the legend in annotate tab, component, legend component, and in this part we are going to search for that name. In here we can see the exterior, and in this part we have this M21. Okay, it could be this one or this one or this one. You should check this one too. I'm going to, for example, click on this section and then add it to this part, and also I want to add the plan view too in here. Okay, like this, you can add all of the doors and windows that you have in your project to this part. And if you want to add another thing, you can create another legend with another name. For example, one for your floors, one for your doors separately and windows separately. Like this, and you can create a sheet, a list of everything that you had in your project. After you add all of them, you can go to the graphics section. You can put this part on consistent color. You can put this section on font. And then under this part, you can create a text. In this section, you can add the information about that door, about the opening side, about the type of that door, about the color, about the material that you had used for that, and this way you can complete this part for this section. If you want, you can also create a table and put all of these in that section, and you can add the size of your door, for example this way to this part, and then like this to here. And after that, you can add information about the smaller section too, like this, even smaller parts this way, this part, and also this section. Okay, and I'm going to move all of these up, these two. Okay, and after this we can add the category, for example material category. I'm going to click on this section this way. For example, this is one. I'm going to create another one for this part this way, and also for this window. Since we cannot see anything in this part, we can select it and go to that edit type. And I'm going to go back to this first level, select this, go to edit type, and in here we can find the material, glass material in the middle, and then we can go to this section. In the description we have this clear glazing. I'm going to select it, but of course this is not the material that we had, and because if this was the material that we created tag for, we should have that clear glazing text. I'm going to also check this one. In here we don't see any description, so I'm going to paste it in this part, and I'm going to click on OK and OK again. If we go to the legend section, we can see it in here. So this way you can complete your legend with any information, any detail that you want for your project. Another thing that we can do for our project is to create a drafting view. In drafting sections, we can create any detail, more like 2D information, maybe text, maybe things that we cannot create in 3D view and add it to our project. We can just simply sketch anything we want in that part. To create that section, you can go to View tab, and in this part, we have this drafting view. I'm going to click on this part and we can give it a name, any name you want, and then you can change the scale. I'm going to put this on, let's go with 1 by 10 and click on OK. Now we have another part in this section, drafting views. If you open it, you can see the drafting number 1. As I said, in this part, we can create anything we want. If you go to Architecture tab, you can see that all of the 3D views, all of the 3D tools are inactive. And if you go to Annotate section, you can see that the only options you have is all of these sections. We usually sketch anything we want with this detail line, or we can add any text we want with this option. Also, you can go to Insert section and add any information you want. Sometimes you have created all of those information in the CAD, in your AutoCAD file, in the WG format, or in PDF, and without redoing them, just simply add it to drafting section and then add it to your final sheet in this part. Okay, for example, I'm going to go to Annotate tab, and in here, let's say we want to add detail for one of the floors type of floors, type of walls, type of details that we have. I'm going to go to detail line, and with this rectangle, I'm going to create my section, a very simple section of this floor in here. I'm going to create the size and the length in here, 1 meter. We can of course do this in the legend section too, but this is one way that you can create anything you want in this part. I'm going to create some lines in here. This is a very simple detail that we can create for our floors. Okay, in here and also in this part. After this, I'm going to set the size to 2 centimeter. In here, I'm going to go with 4, and after that we can go with just simply 15 millimeter, and for the base we can go with 2 centimeter. Okay, this is, let's say, are all of the layers that we have on one of the floor types that we use in our project. Then I'm going to go to region section, and with this field region I'm going to create the pattern that I want for this part. Okay, I'm going to move this to this section exactly, and before I hit finish I'm going to set the pattern, and in here let's search for concrete, this one. I'm going to click on OK, and if you want you can change its color too. For the background I'm going to go with this solid fill, but I will change the color we have in this part. Okay, and the color of the background I'm going to add a little bit more value. Click on OK and OK and hit finish in this part. Okay, this way we can create the exact thing that we want for the drafting section, and exactly like this we can add information for the other parts too. I'm going to create another one for this section, and then if you go to edit tab I'm going to duplicate this one to the tile so we can use the other one too in here. I'm going to go to this section. In model section we can scroll down to find the herringbone tile. In this part I'm going to click on this section, or you can go with any other pattern that you want in this part. I have created different videos about these patterns and the way you can create them. If you are interested, you can check them in the top right corner. I'm going to click on OK, and let's say we want to change its color. Let's go with this one. I'm going to make it a little bit desaturated. Okay, and then let's go with just a very simple white background. Click on OK and OK, and we can hit finish. And this way you can see the patterns in this part. I'm going to select it, go to edit type. I prefer to change it to something else. Maybe in drafting section, we can go with something like this. I'm going to click on OK and then OK again. Another thing that I want to add to this part is the dimensions. In this part, I'm going to click on all of these sections. Okay, this way we can see the thickness of each layer. Also, if you had the material in all of these parts, you could use the tags, material tags too. We can do this exactly this in the legend section too. If you go to component, legend component, in here you can see the floors, all of the different types of floors, and also the walls in this part, and you can add them to your legend and add information about them in any section that you want. For example, this one, I'm going to simply place it in this part, and then if we go to section, we can add another one to here too. Okay, let's say this is one type of wall that we have in our project. Click on this section again, and let's go with another option. For example, this one, I'm going to place it in floor plan in this part. And now that we have the materials in here, not the patterns, we can go to material tag and create tags simply for them like this. Okay, so this was 3 different ways that you can use to add information and details for your project. These are must-have sections in a professional project, in professional sheets, that you definitely need to know and use in your project. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial, and I will see you next time.